Hi, I'm Spencer Rainey, and for this week's discussion, I chose to focus on the Presbyterian Church's participation in education for women in the African American community. Educating women and African Americans were both controversial issues. The first book I looked at this week was Heading South to Teach, the words of Susan Nye Hutchison, 1815 to 1845 by Kim Tolley. Susan Nye Hutchison grew up in New York and traveled to Antebellum South to help educate women. She spent more than 30 years as a teacher. Tolley's book was written based off of Susan Nye Hutchison's journal that she kept detailing her everyday life. Tolley also incorporated information about education, particularly that of women. On the eve of the Second Great Awakening, Susan was an evangelical teacher who embraced her role in society. Not only did she strive to be a great Christian educator, but also encouraged a broader curriculum for her female students. She wanted them to have a similar education to men, and she taught higher mathematical skills and sciences typically not available to women. While working at the Riley Academy, an all-women's school, Susan witnessed how ill-treated slaves were. Against the law, she read the Bible to them and eventually taught the slaves to read. She was a bit ahead of the church in her full embrace of educating everyone. Susan was, although not her intention, a leader of education for the church. It was not until 1847 that the Presbyterian Church altered their mission on education to incorporate everyone, regardless of their background, economic standing, gender, or color. In 1854, the Presbyterian Church established Lincoln University, which was the first school to educate free slaves and their children. However, support of African American education, the church, there was still an internal struggle on the matter of segregation, which brings into play my second source for the week. Joel L. Avis Jr. wrote Religion and Race, Southern Presbyterians, 1946 to 1983. There is a major time jump here, and for good reason. The Presbyterian Church made huge impact on the education of African Americans starting in the mid-1800s. However, they struggled with desegregation within their own church, much like the rest of the country. Alvis wrote about the Presbyterians in the South and the challenges they faced in desegregating the Christian body. It was the women of the Presbyterian Church that ultimately pushed and established a fully desegregated community. The PCUS, or the Presbyterian Church of the United States, had a white female organization that established an education system for Black women. The organization was called the Auxiliary, but they originally worked underground because women couldn't have organizations. However, when women were a little bit more, were able to work together publicly, they established the name the Auxiliary. Anyways, they designed to teach the Black women in the community better living skills, such as sewing, cleaning, and home economics, along with a proper Christian education with biblical studies. This system of teaching Black women opened the doors to integrating the female Presbyterian community, which, according to Alvis, opened the doors to fully desegregating the church. Although it took some time to happen, there was less pushback among the Presbyterian church members in the South and the general Southern public. Through a Christian perspective, the white Presbyterians understood that the Black community was vastly mistreated and they deserved respect. The most challenging part for the church was gaining acceptance within the Black community and then working with them while the South was fighting to keep segregation. Change is never easy, but the Presbyterian Church has been a leader in education and embracing cultural and ethnical differences on the grounds of preserving Christian morals and spreading the Word of God. The Presbyterian Church has made more contributions to American education than any other one denomination. Susan Nye Hutchison is a great example of the female Presbyterian influence on education, as well as the leadership in the female community to make change happen. I really enjoyed researching the role of the female Presbyterian community this week, and it has opened up a few more dissertation topic possibilities. Thank you for watching.